join this one. Looks like Sean's the one with the commanding board position, and I think you can see why. Not many lands on Reid's side of the table.
And Sean has one of the key cards in the matchup, which is Farika.
Yeah.
These decks aren't very good at answering each other's boards, so it's not that hard to fulfill the devotion requirement. And as the game goes on for a long time, Farika's activated ability is quite powerful as well.
Saw Hero's Downfall take care of the Courser. Farika in play. This will be a Thoughtseize from Duke. Feeley will reveal his hand. Bile-Blight among the options here for Reid. So we'll see what Duke wants to select from this pile of cards. The card that you may not identify in the hand is In Garrick's Wake.
Yep.
That is not a cheap one to play.
But these games also go on for quite a while, typically.
Doesn't look like Reid has a land just yet to play. So he'll just have to pass the turn back after that Thoughtseize. Doomweight Giant the draw there for Feeley. Knew that one was coming thanks to Courser that was previously in play. There's a Nykthos. Here is a rather simple attack for one there by Sean. And now the Doomweight Giant and a passing of the turn. Duke will play a copy of Murderous Cut to get the Doomweight Giant off of the table. And Duke will draw. Can he find a fourth land? Looks like the answer is yes, though it enters the battlefield tapped. It is a Temple of Malady. A little scry action here. That card's going to stay on top and just a passing of the turn.
And I wonder if we're going to hit a stage here where Sean kind of stops playing creatures here and tries to just make use of Farika. You don't want to just be curving into removal spells here, especially with Reid stuck on lands.
Yeah. We'll put Varabos now in Sean's hand. And he will deploy that. An attack for one, which means he'll gain a life as well.
This puts a lot of pressure on Reid, though. Some of that stuff in the graveyard is going to facilitate devotion for Farika, and that's just a lot of damage.
Reid knew the top card of his deck was a Temple, so he puts it directly into play. That top card's going to go to the bottom now. And he will play a Reclamation Sage. That'll take care of the whip. Oh, Sean's still not acting in the Farika. A little bit surprising here with that.
Yeah, I felt like at that point, you know, he rarely does these games come down to just nickel and diming someone out, but Reid's been missing some land drops. And he's at 11. You already have a 1-1 in play.
And we know how these things oftentimes go. It's the mana screwed opponent normally gets back into the game if they're able to draw lands.
Yes. I mean, Reid's hand's all action, and Sean's hand is, you know, essentially nothing. We know it's In Garrick's Wake and wherever his draw step was.
There's Nylon of Blossoms. Time to draw a card. There's a Nykthos, which can tap for a black thanks to Feeley having an Urborg in play. There is a Thoughtseize. Farika is the mystery card. So In Garrick's Wake is going to bite the dust. And you can feel the tide turning in this game.
Yep. Absolutely.
In Garrick's Wake is a beautiful trump card in these sort of matchups. Don't know if it's better than Ugin. Might be supplemental as well, but definitely an option. Here's another Seder Wayfinder. Turn over a couple of cards. There's a Swamp, another Seder Wayfinder, a Temple of Malady, and Sylvan Carry added. Looks like Sean may have seen the fifth card down when he was turning over the cards, so perhaps the shuffle is in order. We'll see what the ruling is.
Yep.
Clearly accidental.
I mean, probably taking a scry land anyway, so he would have seen this momentarily.
Yeah. There is the forced shuffle. Again, not too much of a surprise in this instance. So the Temple was taken. Just a passing of the turn. A little flustered here is Sean, but these things happen when you play against one of the best players in the world. He'll play his temple. He'll scry, leave it on top, and pass the turn back. Five mana here for Duke. Perhaps a Doomway Giant. Yep. That's going to trigger. Take care of both of those Wayfinders and, of course, draw a card thanks to the Eidolon being in play. And Duke will just simply pass the turn back.
And Doomway Giant, naturally, extremely bad news for Sean, as the only thing that he has going at all at this point is his copy of Pharika.
Well, there's a Soul of Innistrad. And that's one that can maybe turn some things around here for him. Depends on the composition of Duke's hand, but the big 6/6 typically has a huge impact in these mid-range mirrors.
And Sean's at a spot now where even if it dies, I mean, he has enough mana to get some stuff back and make a play in the same turn and then untap and play a lot of stuff.
Duke going to play a copy of Satyr Wayfinder. Take a look at the top couple of cards here. No lands among them. But another Satyr Wayfinder, Reclamation Sage, and 2 copies of Sylvan Caryatid go into the bin. The follow-up is a Doomwake Giant. So 2 triggers there, and of course he'll get to draw a card with the Eidolon. He'll play a land. And he'll just pass the turn back. Looking to build a pretty big board here, as now Feeley's going to get to work with the Pharika. So he'll get a Death Toucher. Feeley gonna draw.
And if Feeley picked up a removal spell this turn, he may be in a position to make an attack with the Soul of Innistrad. Because Reid doesn't want to have to block with more than he absolutely has to because of Death Touch. But if he only blocks, with just enough to get the soul off the table, then a removal spell wipes up a lot of Reid's board.
Just going to pass that turn back, it seems. So we'll go back to Duke, who's worked his way out of his mana issues, is looking to turn the corner on this game and on this match.
Again, still not out of it just yet. That 6/6 is very threatening, and an active Soul of Innistrad means that naturally Sean's entire graveyard is going to be coming back momentarily.
Retapping a bunch of mana. He's going to add a Whip of Erebos to the board. And don't forget, Constellation triggers aplenty here. 1 from each Doomwake Giant and Eidolon 2. So look at the draw. Let's see what's next here for Reid. Satyr Wayfinder will come back. Turn over a couple of cards. Pharika among them. Also Reid the Bones there. Orborg will go to the graveyard. Looks like Forest going to go to Reid's hand. And a very brave Satyr Wayfinder looks like it's heading into the red zone.
It's not doing anything else.
Yep. Perhaps some others are interested, however. Sylvan Innistrad will eat that. Duke will get the gain of life here. There's a Jungle Hollow, so 2 sounds good. And a passing of the turn over to Feeley, who again does have this Soul of Innistrad just blocking the road, causing some problems.
You're not just causing some problems here, but getting back these Doomwake Giants. Reid's already kind of barely hanging in the game as it is, and he'll end up losing a lot of his board here. Will not take very long for Sean to start going on the offensive, and Sean has the ability to break up Reid's Whip of Erebos shenanigans at a moment's notice because he has Pharika in play. And then the Doomwake Giant can handle the token that Sean's Pharika will generate for Reid.
And perhaps this is part of the reason we didn't see Sean activating Pharika a little bit earlier. It's because he knew that he had Soul of Innistrad to draw to. And so I can get some of these cards back and maybe try to work my way back into the game in case it gets to this point. There's 5 mana. There's Doomwake Giant. That'll clear away a couple of creatures. Here's Courser. That'll clear away Eidolon of Blossoms. Top card right now is a Wooded Foothills. So things are kind of going back and forth here between these two, actually.
Oh, I think Sean's completely flipped the game now.
Yeah. Wooded Foothills comes in. Of course, we'll get to gain a life. So Innistrad kind of wants to work its way into the red zone, but not so sure just yet.
Oh, I really want to work it in there.
Yeah, with those Doomwakes being a little bit smaller, they're 2 power at that point. I think it's a pretty safe attack.
Yep.
May have been a missed opportunity there by Feeley.
And the worst case scenario is Reid blocks, and really the thing you're worried most about here is Reid being able to cobble together a turn where he just triggers the Doomwake Giants 3 times, and you lose everything.
Yeah.
So if he blocks, you're thrilled, and if he doesn't block, that's great too.
Eidolon's going to come back. 1 card coming here for Duke. He's moving a little faster now. Courser. A lot of triggers. Forest is the draw. Take a look at the top card. Farika. You want to talk about triggering Doomwake Giants multiple times a turn.
Yep.
That's how you get the job done there. Don't think he can do it this turn.
I mean, but if he had another enchantment, this would have been a big wipe here.
Yeah, it would have been really bad news. And now Duke's going to come into the red zone. Now, don't forget, Duke does have Whip of Erebos in play. So, of course, this attack is relatively good because he gets to gain a bunch of life. Now, Sean going to decide how he wants to block here. You got to remember that Soul of Innistrad right now is a 2-power creature. The Doomwake Giant over there for Sean is a 0-power creature. Due to all these Doomwake Giant triggers.
Yeah, and I think Sean contemplating between a chump block here or just letting it all go through. I think he has enough of a life total here that he doesn't have to block right now. He can just take this hit and try to overwhelm Reid's board next turn.
Looked like Doomwake Giant was thinking about blocking, but opted not to there.
Yeah, Sean just needed to confirm the size there. And it would have been a chump block here, and because he's very close to setting up Doomwake, you know, play a second Doomwake, maybe start activating Farikas, get a bunch of enchantments that way, and clear out Reid's board. No reason to take the risk there. Because Reid's Whip of Erebos becomes a lot less threatening once there's no longer multiple Doomwakes in play. Because that's really the only thing that is putting Sean's high toughness creatures at risk.
And there is a Doomwake Giant. Token gonna come in. Token gonna come in.
And this is the big turn that Sean's been trying to set up here.
Yep. Now he's stacking for a bunch of damage too. He's gonna do a devotion count. Says, okay, Farika, not quite yet. 1 short. But Reid's gonna take a pretty big punch here and lose most of his board. So it looks like both players were trying to set up that turn.
Yeah.
And Sean got to do it first.
And Sean showed so much discipline this game playing for that Soul of Innistrad. There's only one in the 75. It's not like he's playing 3 or 4 copies. And if he had been very aggressive going through his graveyard, making tokens, and Reid was able to find Doomwake Giant, this whole scenario wouldn't have played out like this.
So Reid kind of looking over his graveyard at this point. activate the whip to get back a Reclamation Sage. I'll take care of a Doomweight Giant. There's an attack. And a block action. Duke will gain a little bit of life here. There's a land. This is a Farika. And just a passing back of the turn back to Feeley. These players trying to grind out each other's resources.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, this is a grind.
Yeah. Time to attack. There's an activation. The 4 blockers, you're going to see now Sam activate or cast a Bile Blight, one of the two. Activate Farika or cast Bile Blight. If that Snake Token's going to bite the dust, thanks to Blight. Now Snake Token comes in. We'll see if Sam has anything to remove from his grave, and he might be out of ammo. Yeah. A dangerous situation there.
Yep. I mean, Reid still has a chance to claw back into this thing.
Yeah. So Innistrad did such nice work there for Sean to lose it to a Farika Death Touch token. It's a tough way to go. This is turn 0 of extra turns. Now Nissa Worldwaker on top of the deck. Can one of these players get rid of the other?
I think that Sam may have been able to pivot a little bit here, just nuke Reid's graveyard, and then use Doomweight Giant to clear out the tokens.
Sure.
As it stands, the Whip of Erebos is problematic. I think there was probably a way to maneuver where that would not have been a concern.
Maybe a little less aggressive.
Yeah, there is a spot where once you have Reid's board cleared up, it's just prevent too much damage from happening from his Whip of Erebos, and make sure Farika isn't that problematic in combat. And I feel like we're in a spot now where Whip of Erebos is problematic, and so is Farika.
Reid gonna activate his whip. Get back a Reclamation Sage. That's gonna come in, take care of Doomweight Giant as we're on turn 1 of extra turns. Into the red zone comes the Reclamation Sage, basically a freebie. Of course, you're gonna block. That creature will get exiled, of course. Duke will play a Windswept Teeth. And we'll just have to pass the turn back over to Feeley. So turn 2 of extra turns. This is the draw. Top card from Courser.
I believe in Eidolon of Blossoms.
A different take.
Is that a buy a box promo?
Draws a card all the same.
That's true.
See how Sean wants to navigate things now. 5 mana. There's Nissa. Always got to be careful with the mana that you tap for that thing. Which lands do you want to send into the red zone, if any at all? He's going to go with the Llanowar Waste. So that's going to be a 4/4 Trampler. Does a nice job of pushing damage across over the Death Touch tokens.
But Reid's got so much life to play with that I think Sean actually might be better served just holding back on defense.
Maybe trying to do it all in one big turn.
Yeah, especially with Reid having a Whip of Erebos. You don't really want to engage in combat incidentally, just because of the life gain triggers.
Soul of Innistrad activation. Those are the cards that he'll be targeting. Looks like those are all going to get removed, which means Sean will get some snakes. So Reid puts an end to that, but Sean gets some more creatures.
But this was the line of play I was discussing from Sean's side earlier of now Reid can get the Doomweight Giant back, and the worst damage that Sean can do with his graveyard is taken care of.
Yeah. It's almost like Reid's been here before.
Yeah. It's almost like that.
As Doomweight Giant is back now. There go all the snakes. Now Duke on the third turn of extra turns. Looking to clear some more things out of the way here. You check his devotion. It's at 5 for Farika. That matters right now. Looks like he's going to make a couple of tokens, which means that that land and that courser are going to bite the dust. And the Farika won't be on, but a large attack from Doomway Giant will be. And the question is, do you go after Sam or do you go after Nissa? He's going to go after Nissa. There's a Jungle Hollow, which will put Reid up to 15. And we're going to send it back Feeley's way. Pile on the draw.
So we know Sean can't win this turn, so all he's trying to do is protect himself from Reid doing the same.
That's all he can do. And I would be surprised if Reid can deal 13.
Through, I think there's been a murderous cut in Sean's hand for almost the entire game.
Yeah.
Farika's available. And Doomway Giant's not a shabby draw either here.
Seen worse.
You're trying to get to a draw.
And there is Doomwake. That'll kill all those snakes. This is just how this matchup goes. You got to play it so fast.
Yes. I mean, these players may not even be close to winning the game on either side. We could be looking at another 5, 6, 7, 8 turns.
We're going to go to turn 5. I just don't think that there's a combination of cards here for the Duke to get the job done, but he'll start by sacrificing a Windswept Teeth. Maybe taking a look at his deck as he gets a land out of it, see if there's any combination of cards that do exist.
I think only Doomway Giant left in the graveyard is something he can get back with Whip of Erebos.
Looks like Doomway Giant wants to draw. Here's an activation. Doomway Giant going to come on back. Bunch of mana here from Nissa. Play another Doomway Giant. Another trigger. Into the red zone. There's a block. That's going to bite the dust. Forest will come in. That'll bite the dust. And it's going to be a draw here between Duke and Feeley. So both these players in the green-black Constellation Mirror will head to the draw bracket. They're both 4-1-1.
And I think Sean's probably stoked to get out of here with a draw. I mean, that's a nerve-wracking match to play right there.
Yeah, for sure. Playing against one of the best players in the world in the mirror match, where you have to imagine Reid is so very well prepared to play the mirror match, given his history with this sort of strategy. So to get out of here with a draw, even though it was back and forth for a while, both players kind of taking the initiative about who was going to win. But in the end, just ends up being a draw between the two players.
Yeah, I think that, it's not a bad outcome for Sean. I think there was a couple times in the match where